the Queen of England, Elizabeth II, passed away.
Queen Elizabeth II has died.
After her death, news agencies around the world began to report the royal family's every move following the Queen's death. The mainstream media has painstakingly portrayed the British monarchy as a grieving family that deserves the world's sympathy. Considering the international coverage given to the late Queen and the royal family, the question has to be asked: what makes the royal family worth idolizing? The British royal family, as innocent as the media portrays it to be, has been marred with atrocities that span over multiple continents. These atrocities entailed massacring, torturing, and exploiting their colonized subjects for financial gain. In Africa, the British royal family orchestrated many ethnic cleansings whenever they deemed it necessary. During Elizabeth's first year as queen, British soldiers forced 1.5 million Kenyans into concentration camps where they were starved, beaten, and humiliated for their perceived insubordination from 1952 to 1963. In India, the royal family had allowed atrocities to be carried out on the subcontinent population. The infamous East India Company, which was given an official royal charter by the British monarchy, was responsible for committing systematic horrors such as mass starvation, which claimed an astonishing 35 million lives in India alone. In the pursuit of exploiting and plundering resources for personal gain, the royal family has had no problems by using horrific means to meet their selfish ends. To this day, the British royal family has not acknowledged the turmoil it has afflicted on the world stage. It's important to understand that Muslims have historically been targets of the royal family's crusades against them because of their unwillingness to submit to British colonialism. Shockingly, Muslims in the UK and other parts of the world have begun to mourn the Queen's death despite the horrendous track record that the royal family has had in Muslim lands. Some have even shown disturbing displays of kufr, such as prostrating at the Queen's casket or making pilgrimage to Mecca on her behalf. To make matters worse, Muslim-majority countries have taken unprecedented steps to praise and celebrate the life of the Queen and the royal family. For example, countries such as the UAE have had their heads of state send their condolences and have ordered their flags to fly at half-mast for the late Queen. Bangladesh dedicated 3 days for its citizens to mourn the Queen's death, despite the fact that the royal family had intentionally starved ethnic Bengalis during the Bengal famine of 1943, which led to the death of over 3 million people. This tone-deaf response from the Muslim community betrays those who suffered tremendously at the hands of the royal family. When Muslim countries begin to honor war criminals and genocidal dynasties that have intentionally murdered millions of innocent civilians at an unparalleled scale, what sort of message does this send? Does this send a supportive message to the Palestinians, Uyghurs, and other persecuted Muslim communities that are still oppressed by modern-day colonialists? Or does it send a message to the world that we in the West are okay with Muslims being murdered by Islamophobic governments? May Allah help those Muslims who are still fighting for their freedom against the modern imperialists. Ameen.